General information. Written prior notice. 34 CFR Section 300.503. Notice. Written prior notice must be given to the parents of a student with a disability or adult student a reasonable time before the LE 1. proposes to initiate or change the identification, evaluation, or educational placement of the student or the provision of a FAPE to the student, or 2. refuses to initiate or change the identification, evaluation, or educational placement of the student or the provision of a FAPE to the student. Content of notice. The notice required must include 1. a description of the action proposed or refused by the LE, 2. an explanation of why the LE proposes or refuses to take the action, 3. a description of each evaluation procedure, assessment, record, or report the LE used as a basis for the proposed or refused action, 4. a statement that the parents of a student with a disability or adult student have protection under the procedural safeguards of the IDEA and, if this notice is not an initial referral for evaluation, the means by which a copy of a description of the procedural safeguards can be obtained. 5. Sources for parents or adult students to contact to obtain assistance in understanding the provisions of the IDEA. 6. A description of other options that the IEP team considered and the reasons why those options were rejected, and 7. A description of other factors that are relevant to the LEA's proposal or refusal. Notice in understandable language. The notice must be 1. written in language understandable to the general public, and 2. provided in the native language of the parent or adult student or other mode of communication used by the parent or adult student, unless it is clearly not feasible to do so. If the native language or other mode of communication of the parent or adult student is not a written language, the LE must take steps to ensure that 1. the notice is translated orally or by other means to the parent or adult student in his/her native language or other mode of communication. 2. The parent or adult student understands the content of the notice, and 3. there is written evidence that the requirements have been met. Native language. 34 CFR Section 300.29. Native language, when used regarding an individual who has limited English proficiency, means the following. 1. The language normally used by that individual, or, in the case of a student, the language normally used by the parents of the student or the adult student in all direct contact with the student, including evaluation of the student, the language normally used by the student in the home or learning environment. 2. For a person with deafness or blindness, or for a person with no written language, the mode of communication is what the person normally uses, such as sign language, braille, or oral communication. Electronic mail. 34 CFR Section 300.505. A parent of a student with a disability may elect to receive notices by an electronic mail communication, if the LE makes that option available. Communication.